And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. I'm moving far away to us.
So we're making our first stop here at Nerja. It's about an hour and a half away, and we're going to be checking out the caves in just a second, but first we're going to quickly grab some breakfast, see if we can find somewhere to eat as we arrived a little bit earlier than expected. It's a pretty small town, but luckily we found a hotel which has got like a free buffet breakfast for like £4. So we're probably just going to go there, and we'll see you in a second when we check out the caves.
We weren't actually too interested in stopping here to begin with, but we needed some place to stop halfway just to take a little bit of a break from driving. And it turned out to be pretty cool. I believe it was €13. You get a guided tour with this earpiece, which you can choose your language, because there's a lot of foreigners come here as well, which was pretty nice to see. Though I will admit I did actually take the earpiece out after about the first 10 minutes, just because I was more interested in taking photos and actually looking at the stuff than listening to the history behind it. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to use the flash or any external light sources inside the cave, so the videos come out a bit pixelated as it was pretty dark in there. However, thanks to low shutter speeds, we did manage to catch some pretty cool still photos of the place. Though the best thing that definitely made this stop worth it was just outside the cave. We went into the cafeteria to get a drink, and we definitely didn't expect to see this magnificent view out on the balcony terrace. Just the way the sunlight hits the Mediterranean Sea here was really, really cool to see. This entire stop took us about 2 hours, and then it was back on the road, time to head off to the Viñuela Lake campsite.
We're all falling and we need a place to hide. A safe place somewhere in the woods we can start a fire. All we know is what will be our home. We will stay until the break of dawn. The cold night takes us to a place to escape the chill. Tucked up somewhere in the woods on a hill. Wake up feeling the cold in between our toes. Is there a way back? Nobody knows. And we leave it all behind. Can't you see? We need some time. And we all sit around the fire. We feel a little warmer now. And we all...
So again, early the next morning after grabbing some breakfast, we got back in the car and headed off to our next destination, which was Torcal de Antequera. This is a mountaintop with some pretty cool rock formations. It took us about an hour and a half to get there, I would say, as it's a pretty long climb. It's 1,400 meters above sea level, so it got pretty cold up there, and I was definitely not dressed for the occasion. And even though we went in the first week of January, it was packed solid. You can see here a little bit in the video that the parking right at the top of the mountain was completely full, so we had to sort of park halfway down and walk our way up, which took a little while. But we got some pretty cool shots here, and this is one of the places we actually plan on going back to at some point, hopefully this year, just to spend an entire day fully exploring it, as it was so much bigger than we anticipated.
Down by the water, picking stones from the ground. Take me home to the friends I've always known. Take me home
This same afternoon, we headed off to a campsite on the outskirts of a town called Ronda, which was going to be visited the next day. And by the way, this town, you're going to see in a second, is one of the most spectacular places I think I've ever seen. However, first came the night at this campsite. Now, this campsite was about at 800 meters of altitude, so it got really cold at night. And all we had was these cheap €20 tents, and I had personally the cheapest sleeping bag I could find. And I even recorded this short video here. At 8 a.m. in the morning, it was 3 degrees Celsius. And at one point at like 4 a.m., it even hit 1 degree. So it was absolutely freezing. The humidity was coming through the tents like hell. So we had a pretty rough time, but we powered through it and we survived. And the next morning, it was time to head off to Ronda. Now, most things were shot here as it was the 6th of January, which is the day of the Three Kings, equivalent to the Spanish Christmas. But I will say this place, for me at least, was the highlight of the entire journey. I'm just going to leave you guys with a few of the shots of some of the views we got here. It's so breathtaking, even more so in person.
Took the breath from my open mouth. Never known how it broke me down. I went in circles.